They are the steel arteries of a nation, a vast network of iron and wood that quietly powers the American economy. Most of us barely notice them except for the occasional rumble in the night or a long wait at a crossing. But these aren't just trains, they're the circulatory system moving the building blocks of our lives from coast to coast. Without them, America would grind to a halt. Yet this system is showing dangerous signs of strain. Deferred maintenance, aging infrastructure, and immense pressure are pushing it to a breaking point. Billions of tons of freight, worth trillions, depend on tracks built for another era. The warning signs are everywhere, but the crisis remains largely invisible. We traveled across the country to see this system up close and talk to those who keep it running. What we found: immense pride in the work, but deep concern about the system's fragility. This is a slow-motion disaster threatening to disrupt supply chains and impact every American. America's prosperity was built on its railroads, but that legacy has bred dangerous complacency. Infrastructure isn't permanent, it needs constant investment and vigilant maintenance. Decades of neglect are catching up, and the warning lights are flashing red. The question is no longer if it will fail, but when. Our journey begins in a small Midwestern town where a single stretch of track carries an astonishing volume of the nation's goods. It's a silent giant, a choke point, and a microcosm of the larger crisis. Coal from Wyoming, grain from endless fields, and double-stacked containers all move along these rails. If this line shuts down, the consequences are immediate and catastrophic. Power plants risk blackouts, farmers lose their harvests, factories halt production. The economic shockwaves would touch every corner of the country. This overlooked track is a linchpin holding the national economy together, but it's under immense strain. Trains run day and night with no room for error. A single delay can cascade into days of disruption. Locals see both the power and fragility of the system every day. They worry about what happens when it finally breaks. The problem isn't just traffic, it's the age of the system. Much of the infrastructure is a relic battered by weight and weather. Maintenance crews patch worn tracks and rotting ties, but it's like plugging leaks in a crumbling dam. Bridges built a century ago now bear modern freight, their steel rusting and concrete cracking. Inspectors fight a losing battle against time and fatigue. Incidents are rising, clear signals the system is reaching a breaking point. Outdated signaling technology increases the risk of human error and collisions. We saw a near-miss 2 freight trains stopped, nose-to-nose disaster averted by minutes. The crisis is a web of worn tracks, crumbling bridges, and obsolete controls. Each is a point of failure, and the odds of catastrophe grow with every passing train. Years of neglect have made the system brittle. The cracks are showing. The stakes have never been higher. This crisis is also a human story, of the men and women who keep the trains moving. We spoke with engineers, conductors, and maintenance workers, proud but exhausted and angry. Job cuts have left crews stretched thin, on call around the clock, with little room for family or rest. Fatigue and pressure to cut corners are constant. A nationwide strike nearly paralyzed the country, not just over pay, but basic quality of life. Railroad corporations chasing profits have pushed precision-scheduled railroading. Fewer workers, longer trains, relentless pressure. The result: burnout, early retirements, and a loss of irreplaceable experience. The human element, the most critical component, is being worn down. Workers see the risks daily: deteriorating tracks, aging bridges, and razor-thin safety margins. Their warnings are often ignored in the pursuit of profit. They are the frontline observers of this looming crisis. The system is not sustainable. Something has to give. To grasp the impact of rail failure, look beyond the tracks. For a farmer, delayed trains mean crops rot in the field. Profit turns to ruin. At a coal-fired power plant, a few weeks' supply sits on hand. Any disruption means rolling blackouts. Small manufacturers can't guarantee deliveries or keep production lines running when rail service falters. Uncertainty drives up costs and threatens survival. Towns along the tracks face blocked crossings, delayed emergency vehicles, and the constant fear of derailments, especially with hazardous cargo. The railroad is their neighbor, but an increasingly unpredictable one. Its failure would ripple through every home, farm, and business. The system's fragility is a daily reality for those who depend on it. Every delay, every breakdown, is a warning. The consequences of collapse would be felt everywhere. The stakes are personal, immediate, and national. America cannot afford to ignore them. Why is this happening? The answer: Political inaction, financial pressures, and new threats. Washington talks about infrastructure, but action stalls in partisan gridlock. Railroads are privately owned, but their health is a matter of national security. Wall Street demands profits, so corporations cut costs, slash maintenance, and prioritize buybacks over upgrades. The result? A system less resilient, less safe, and more vulnerable. Modern threats compound the crisis. Cyber attacks could cripple train movements nationwide. The Department of Homeland Security warns, the rail network is a prime target. Climate change brings more heat, floods, and storms, overwhelming infrastructure never built for these extremes. All these forces, neglect, profit-chasing, cyber risks, and climate, are converging. The system faces a perfect storm of risk. The time to act is now. The people holding this system together are unsung heroes, maintenance crews working in all conditions, patching what they can. They take pride in their work, but frustration is mounting. They're asked to do more with less, forced to patch instead of overhaul. Pressure for speed compromises safety. Their struggle is a national one. America built prosperity on these rails but has neglected their foundations. We've prioritized short-term gains over long-term stability. The railroad crisis is a symptom of a larger disease. Our infrastructure is on borrowed time. The steady rumble of freight is the nation's heartbeat, but it's becoming irregular. A single major failure, a bridge collapse, derailment, or cyber attack, could trigger a chain reaction felt by all. The cost of inaction now outweighs the cost of investment. The time for debate is over. We must act, before the silence of a stopped train tells us it's too late. The future of America's steel arteries depends on it.